Hello everyone, this is Damon with Pixnub. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the color changing actions for the jersey template. Super excited about this one because this is the most advanced set of color changing actions that we've ever released, as well as the simplest to use. So it has the best of both worlds, and moving forward, this is kind of the blueprint for what we're going to do for all of our future template releases. We're going to have actions set up in a very similar way to this template. So just to real quickly show you how powerful this is, if I just select one of these themes here and hit play, you see that it's in like 2 seconds replaced all of the colors in the entire template. So for instance, we have the most iconic jersey of all time here. But if we click on something else like Gators, completely different color scheme. In this case, University of Florida is what it looks like. But just a few things I need to point out before I dive into this to ensure that your actions work. And the first thing is these layers, or that in the template, you'll have a group folder at the bottom that says do not delete. Don't delete that or your actions will throw an error. This is a hidden group below the background. It's not going to be visible. But what's going on here is different template layouts have different layers. So for example, the team image has some different text items than the individual. So because of that, in order to make these actions to work for both team and individual, so you don't need a separate set of actions, it's going to change the colors for all of the team layers and all of the individual layers. So in order to do that, we have to have this hidden folder down here. So for example, if we played this action on the team image, you see that it works just the same way because these bottom 4 are actually targeting the team layers. So anyways, to sum it up, just don't delete that folder. The second thing is don't rename any of these actions or the action set in this lower group here. So the one that says jersey template and all of these color actions. If you rename those, then these top actions won't work, because if you notice what we have here is we've got a team color theme action. The only thing it does is plays actions from this lower group. So it's saying play action last name color black from set jersey template. So it's looking for those names to be a specific way, and then it's going to go and play that action for that color element. Last thing is don't resize your template. For example, this 1:1 here, like you may think you can get away with a smaller size because this is for buttons or whatever, but if this is 7,200 by 7,200 pixels, what's going to happen? Let me demonstrate here. Let's say you wanted to make this 3,000 by 3,000. Now if you go and play, let's play that same Bulls action. Now you can see that the stroke around the text is really wide. And that's because the actions that replace the stroke are doing it at a specific radius. So they're doing 50 pixels, but 50 pixels on a 3,000 pixel image is much wider in proportion than 50 pixels on a 7,200 pixel image. I hope that makes sense here. We'll just demonstrate again. Without resizing, we can now see that it's proper. And so if you need to resize, just do it after you've created your images. So run your batch and spa saved as single layer, and then you can resize them if you really need to. All right, so moving forward to discuss the actions themselves, there's 2 action groups that it comes with. And the first is called jersey template themes, and the second is called jersey template. And like I say, moving forward, this is the blueprint for how we're going to do all of our actions. This makes it a little bit easier on the user side, I think. So in this top group, this is where you'll have all of your team themes. And there's only 11 in here in the download because I can't come up with schemes for every single team in the whole world. But it's super simple to record your own, and we're going to do that here using this bottom group of actions. So within this bottom group, each of these, they're separated into sections, and you can see that I tried to make it very apparent here with the asterisks and the header. And all those are actually, and it's kind of a sleight of hand, but these are just actions with no steps. So I named these 3 actions with asterisks and header names and didn't record anything into there. That way, you can just visually, you can see in your action set your different groups. And each of these groups does one specific element on the template. And so I'll just start top to bottom. And the first one is just for your jersey holes. Now this is not a color action, but this allows you to set your jersey holes to either no holes or just 4 different sizes of jersey holes. So really slick. You don't have to do any layer editing in your template. I actually don't like the large holes very much, but I included them just in case somebody wanted to do something where that looks like those practice jerseys with the large holes. But in any case, I'll go back to small holes. This is my favorite, is the small or the extra small, or even no holes. Depends on the type of jersey you're trying to simulate. And if you do want to do a jersey with no holes, what I suggest is playing the action here and saving your template that way. What this action will do is it will go into this group and it will disable this layer mask, but the layer mask will still be there. Don't just delete that layer mask, because then if you try to get your holes back, you won't be able to. And then it will also disable this effect, which is your bevel for the holes. So that's what that action does. And if you play one of the other actions, it enables your bevel and enables the mask and puts in the proper size of holes in your mask. So moving on, the next one in the group is number spacing. And this was just for one specific purpose, and that was basically the number 11. With those numbers too close together, they kind of get covered up by the player usually. So there's a number spacing wide action, and that spaces them out wider. You could record your own and do it wider, but I just use the basic tracking feature in your character. That's all that does. So what you could do is, if you are doing a batch and you know somebody's got the number 11, you could map your SPA batch to run that specific action in your CSV template, which I've got tutorials to show how to map CSV templates to actions. The other thing I'll point out too is if you're doing a single number, you do have 2 options here. You can either stretch that number, or you can, if the players don't mind, putting a leading 0 in there. So if you're batching and they got the number 7, you can put it as 07. I guess that's up to you and the players whether they want that. But with this particular template, the single number does get kind of hidden, so you'll have to, like I say, either stretch it or put the leading 0, whatever it is you feel most comfortable with. All right, so with all that out of the way, I'll get into recording a theme. So with the color themes, I feel it's best to not record your holes action or your number spacing, just to do it with just the colors. That way, if you want to apply the color scheme to a jersey with different holes, you don't have to make new actions. You just hide the holes or show the holes and then play those actions. So with the colors, there's 10 different color items in the template that can be set, and those are numbered 1 through 10 in these groups. And so to make an action that does a color theme, you just need to create an action and hit record and then play one action from each of these groups. So I've already got this Trojans action right here that sets this color. This is the one I'll be making here. So let's start it off with something else. Then let's actually throw this away. All right, so in order to create your color theme, you're going to go up in your actions panel and just hit new action. We'll just call this Trojans. I like to use all caps, no spaces in my actions. And in the case where I have a space, put a hyphen. In that way, that makes it easy if you're running SPA with your CSV templates. You don't have to wonder if there's spaces or caps in there. You just know it's always all caps, no spaces, hyphens in the place of spaces. Just makes troubleshooting easier for your CSVs. But that's completely up to you how you name them. All right, so once we hit new action, you can see it's already started the recording because it's got this little record button down here going. So now we can just start telling it which actions it's going to use in this theme. So top to bottom, 1 through 10 is what you're going to want to do. So first thing we'll go to is jersey colors. In this, we're going to make a white jersey. So I'll just select the white and hit play. We'll go to number 2, last name colors. I think I'll give this gold, is what we had in that other one. And then last name color stroke, that's the stroke around the last name. We'll give that navy blue. And then for the number, I'm going to do this reverse from what I did for the names. So I'll give the number itself navy blue. And then we'll give the number stroke gold. And then for the name, which is this marker font, I like it black here, but even if it's already that same color you want to use, record it anyway. That way it's recorded in your actions. So that way if your text was set to white here, it's going to be told to be black when you play that action. So under the name, I'll just click name color black and hit play. We saw no change, but it did record it. And you can see up here in this action we're recording, each one of those actions we've played is recorded as a step. So when it plays back, it's going to play each of those 6 actions. Now that's it for the individuals. It's just those 6 for the individual template. So if you're not ever doing teams, this is all you need to do. But I recommend recording your team into the color theme as well. That way your action will work with both. And so with the team, the year colors are on the top. I'm going to show you something not to do since I'm thinking about it. My action is recording, and if you wanted to go look at your team and you go look at the team image to start recording your action, and then maybe go back, you'll see in your action what happens. Let me stop this here. It's recorded those steps going to the next document and the previous document. You don't want those steps in your action. So it's best when you're recording your actions just to stay on one template. So I can finish the action off now that I've stopped. I can hit record again, making sure I've selected the last step, and it's just going to continue the recording from that point on. So we're on number 7, which is your year colors. I'm going to use the same colors for the years I did for this last name here. So I'll use year color gold, hit play. Now we don't see anything happen here, but it is recording. Year stroke, we'll do navy blue. And then team name color, we'll do go navy blue on that. And team name stroke, we will go gold. And I can hit stop. And so you see the new action we've made here. Let's test it out. Let's go to something else. And we'll click on the new action Trojans and hit play. And we can see that works. And if we go to the team, since we recorded those team actions, you can see it works on our team image as well. So really, really easy Now, I know I took a lot of time explaining it, but honestly, that process of clicking those 10 actions to record, you can do in less than a minute. It's super simple. And then if you're running SPA, when you batch in SPA, now with SPA 11, you could run this action under the template action, which will run before it puts the player and team images in, or you can run it as a post action, which runs after it's replaced all the text and put your images in. For these actions in this template, it doesn't matter. Either one of those slots will work. Also, you could map your actions in your CSV, which I'm not going to go over in this video, but I do have other tutorials for that as well. Hope this helps, and thanks for watching.